all of you. On behalf of Immb, today I will be, to help to chair this webinar this afternoon. So welcome to Immb International Webinar, and I'm delighted to be your host today. My name is Hyo, and I was the past director of Immb before this. Thank you all for joining us, and we have an exciting session today, and we are looking forward to hear some sharing from our speaker, Dr. Yudy. Before we begin, I encourage you to engage with us throughout the session, and feel free to ask questions during the after the webinar. Yeah, I believe, and you are welcome to use the chat function, the chat box, and we will address them during the Q&A segment to make this this webinar an interactive session. So during the webinar, please mute your microphone. Yeah, and just to let you all know that this webinar will be recorded. Yeah, and later on will be shared in Immb YouTube channel. So feel free to subscribe to our channel. Yeah, after this. And also at the end of the session, we will provide the link, the attendance link, so that you can fill in your attendance. Yeah, and a certificate will be given after that. All right. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our speaker today. So our speaker today is Dr. Yudy. First of all, thank you for accepting our invitation. It's our honor to host Dr. Yudy with us today. And Dr. Yudy received his MD degree from Atma Jaya Catholic University in Jakarta in 2007. Later, he continued to learn about forensic medicine and medical legal and became a specialist in 2011 from Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Indonesia, Jakarta. He's now working in Cipto Mangunkusumo National Hospital and some other hospitals as forensic medicine specialist. Besides, he is also active in several domestic and international organizations, such as Indonesian Association of Forensic Medicine, Komunitas Bakti Kasih Kemanusiaan, and Komunitas Medis Catholic Indonesia, to name a few. He is also very active in international conferences such as Immb, as well as the Asian Forensic Sciences Network. Currently, Dr. Yudy holds certification as forensic and medical legal expert. He hopes to continue to use his skills and shed some light in any cases where he is needed most, and also professionally serve larger community. And as Dr. Yudy always said, forensic for humanity, forensic for all. So, I knew Dr. Yudy since 2017 when Dr. Yudy came over to UITM to attend a workshop. So since then, our friendship continue and grow. And today we are very delighted to have you as our speaker. All right, so Dr. Yudy, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Hyo, for introducing me. Maybe I can correct the um, your news before. We knew actually since 2007 in Medan, Indonesia, and since then, yeah, we became a friend.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It's
long
way
time.
earlier than this. Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Yes. Okay. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Can oh
It's coming. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you put in
Okay.
presentation mode?
Presentation mode.
Yes.
Okay. Is it okay?
But
Yep.
it's a bit small.
Small.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Mm,
Are you sharing the whole screen? Yeah. I think this one. Okay. Yes. Yes.
it's
Can you
okay.
move? Can you? Yeah. Can you try to move?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Um, Thank you for inviting me to give a talk here in this lunch time. So I will share with you all about medical legal system in Indonesia, past and present, and developing a just system through balancing rights and duties. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge Dr. Ade Firmansyah, our head of department, for um, for giving some inputs or for giving some ideas in these presentations, and all of maybe most of these slides or presentations coming from Dr. Ade. So thank you so much for Dr. Ade for providing this kind of material. So this is our outline today. We're going to talk about distribution of forensic and medical legal specialists in Indonesia, challenges in criminal cases, forensic duties, Ministry of Health Regulation number 38, 2022, past and present system, and um, last is a just medical legal system. So as you all know, Indonesia at a glance, we are largest archipelago with more than 17,000 islands, and most of them are inhabited. And our population nowadays around 2,075 plus million people, and 69 plus percent of our population aged 15 until 64 years old. So a big number. Our population maybe the most populated, the second or the third populated, dense populated country in the Asia. And part of Ring of Fire, we our country is part of Ring of Fire, meeting point of Indo-Australia and Pacific tectonic plates. So we call our country supermarket of disasters because you can name all disasters in the world and you can find it in Indonesia, such as flood and earthquakes, liquefaction, what else? Um, and some natural disasters. Yeah. So we are not proud of this of this title actually, supermarket of disasters, but because of this title, um, every parties of DVI from around the world coming to Indonesia to learn and to practice the DVI operation, disaster victim identification operation. So that's the title of our country. So as the total number of cases in of crimes in our country, um, around 276,000 plus cases in a year, consists of kidnapping, robbery with physical assault cases, sexual assault cases, narcotic and substance abuse, quarreling and auto theft and cybercrime. So this kind of cases coming to us to forensic medicine specialists and also forensic other forensic experts to be examined and to get the result. So the challenges in forensic pathology cases, um, as you all know, in Indonesia, maybe we have a different system compared than the other countries, because in Indonesia we cover both sides. We handle the living person and also the dead body. So um, as a forensic medicine specialist in Indonesia, you have to handle the both side of these cases. So you can examine the living person, such as a rape case or um, quarreling cases, but also you have to handle the dead body. You have to do the autopsy and you have to do the external examination of the victim. So the challenges in forensic pathology cases, most of our cases comes from the sudden, unexpected, or suspicious death without injuries, actually, in these cases. But based on our law, the sudden, unexpected, or suspicious death um, have to handle have to be handled by the forensic medicine specialist. So 51% of our cases comes from this kind of cases, and the others are poisoning, traffic accident, homicide, suicide, and drowning. So um, um, most the second number of the cases is a traffic accident, 27%, and the other is drowning and homicide. So most of our homicide cases were blunt force trauma, and the second one is a sharp force trauma. And most of drowning cases have decomposed, or almost all the bodies that we handled are already decomposed. Suicide cases consist of hanging, and also the trend of this nowadays is jumping from the building, jumping from the apartment, and jumping from the high store building. So the increased number of suspicious death, some of them turns out to be homicidal cases after examination. Okay, the major forensic pathology cases in 2022. Maybe all of you know about these cases. About this case, actually, 2022. There's there was a victim. Um, the lower rank police um, was a victim by the general, by his superior, and this is a national case because everybody everybody's watching this. So on July 22, 27, 2022, death of a police brigadier. So the body was exhumed and re-autopsy due to probable doubt regarding conflict of interest of this case. So on November 2022, also we have a big case. A family of four members of this family found dead in a log house. So the postmortem changes show different time of death of this four member of the family. So this kind of these two cases in 2022 was become national case and a high profile case. So the challenges in clinical forensic medicine cases in Indonesia, the number of cases in 2022 increased 9.2%, and sexual assault blunt force trauma cases were increased after lockdown, the pandemic, the core trauma, any trauma cases or patient with suspicious related injury. This is the kind of case that we got from the ER, emergency room in our hospital. We call it core trauma because all trauma cases in ER, they call the forensic medicine specialist to see, yeah, to see. So we decide, is it the medical legal cases or not. So um, every case they consult to forensic medicine specialist. So we can see in this chart, Anyaya in Indonesia called the trauma, the blunt force trauma, Anyaya Tumpul. The number is quite big, yeah, to 350 plus cases. And um, another big number cases is child sexual assault in Indonesia, or maybe in Jakarta only. We have maybe every day we have a child sexual assault cases, maybe three or until five cases each day, every day. So it's a very big number cases in Jakarta and Indonesia actually. So this is the challenges in our clinical forensic medicine cases, and I want to explain about the forensic practice in Indonesia to all of you. Maybe some of you didn't know the situation in Indonesia. The forensic practice case in Indonesia, we can own the facilities, the forensic facilities can be owned by the government, like Ministry of Health building, local government, and also police, army, attorney. Yeah. But in other hand, the forensic services provided also um, can um, can be owned by the private sector. Private sector, so we can practice in the private hospital um, to do the forensic medicine cases. The services provided by forensic medicine specialists and also general practitioners. So based on our law in Indonesia, the general practitioners, the um, the doctor can also handle or can also examine and make the forensic cases, and they can make a report as a forensic practitioner also. So not only our as a forensic medicine specialist can uh, can handle the cases, but also the general practitioners can also handle the forensic medicine cases. But for the forensic pathology, for the dead body, um, uh, the law limit the general practitioner capabilities only to do the the external examination of the body, but not to do the autopsy. Yeah, the autopsy has to be conducted by the forensic medicine specialist and or forensic expert doctors. So this is the situation in Indonesia. We have in every province, we have Ministry of Health hospital and also the police hospital. So the forensic medicine specialist can make the practice in this kind of infrastructures. The forensic pathology services in Indonesia, our scope of services consists of medical legal autopsy. Yeah, as we all know, the autopsy um, comes from the medical legal cases, and also we can do the clinical autopsy as a forensic medicine specialist. We can do the clinical autopsy. The clinical autopsy request comes from the family, not coming from the police, but the family wants to know about the exact cause of death of this person, so they can ask us to do the uh, autopsy, the clinical autopsy. And also, the forensic medicine specialist can also do the disinfecting bodies. Um, this is very crucial in last pandemic era when we have to disinfect all the bodies before sending out from the hospital. And also, we can do the body storage in our facility. Scene investigation, we can be involved in scene investigation by the police. And also, we can do the embalming to embalm the body, where the body put in the funeral home for several days. So we have to embalm this body. And this is our competency also in Indonesia. And also the entomology analysis. This is very new in our scope, um, but hope we can do more better in the future about the entomology analysis, because not so many um, expert from Indonesia to uh, can do this analysis. And the first anthropology, actually, we don't have any special forensic anthropology in this our facility in our hospital. But Indonesia have the some of us anthropologists, um, but their background are not from the doctor, from the MD, but they are anthropologists, um, the real anthropologists from the um, social uh, societies. So part of forensic pathology also deal with the human remains. This is the picture of Dr. Ade. And identification of skeletal remains, we can make the we can do the screening about race, age, height, and sex in this of the bodies. So the identification also very crucial and important in the DVI operation, where the victim are very big number. So we have to identify who is this body. Is it female or male? How about his age, and how about his race? Yeah. So from the forensic anthropology, we can also get the information about the signs of trauma on skeletal remains. So is there any signs of trauma? Um, Even though the skeletal uh, also last for a very long time ago, buried long time ago, but we can still find the signs of trauma if there's any trauma on the skeletal remains. So that's the benefit or the advantage of the skeletal remains, because the bones consist of very strong and um, yeah, very strong material, so we can do or we can find the signs of trauma even if the even if it happened very long time ago. So the skeletal reconstruction we also can do, um, if we know about this kind of knowledge, the anthropology, we can do reconstruction for the skeletal. We can reconstruct from the um, skeletal that's one by one we can reconstruct again, as the human remains. So we can collect also the medical findings from the skeletal bones or the skeletal remains. So this is the clinical forensic medicine. We have a lot of cases in Jakarta, especially clinical forensic medicine. So the scope of our service including the assault, um, even there's a blunt force trauma, sharp trauma, or what kind of trauma, and also the domestic violence. Yeah, we call it um, KDRT in Indonesia, kekerasan dalam rumah tangga. So that means domestic violence, and also child abuse, either the physical abuse or sexual abuse, and also neglect and human trafficking. Yeah, we have a lot of cases, the human trafficking, crossing area, crossing provinces, and also crossing the border of countries. And sexual assault, yeah, sexual assault from the child until the adult. Yeah, poisoning, intoxication cases, and also we can do the fitness to be interviewed or fitness to be detained, fitness to be transported, in some special cases of forensic medicine cases. About the forensic toxicology, what is the scope of our work is, we can examine the drug facilitated rape, drug intoxication or misuse, substance abuse, and also from the traffic accident. We can use we can examine the possibility of using the alcohol or any drugs before the accident. Yeah, and forensic odontology, in our department we don't have any forensic odontologists, but we can collaborate with the colleagues from the dentistry faculty to, if we have the case that needs to do the dental identification, we can collaborate with them. We can ask them to do the collaborative examination, and also for the bite mark analysis, we can ask them to help us in this kind of trauma, and also the disaster victim identification, as we all know. Yeah, we can we can do the identification from the dental record and also from the dental examination. The first is cytobiomolecular molecular. We can do the DNA analysis in Indonesia, but we don't have any. We don't have so many experts in this field, the DNA analysis. So yeah, we have very limited experts in this field. So we still have to expand, or we still have to learn more about the DNA analysis in the future. And also blood tests, blood pattern, blood gas analysis, and also cardiac markers. we can do this kind of examination from the laboratory examination, um, coming from the blood sample. We can do this kind of test. Okay, so this is the medical legal services in Indonesia. Um, as a forensic and medical legal in Indonesia, we the title of our profession is forensic and medical legal. So we combine the forensic and also medical legal in our title because these two field very related, and um, so yeah, the title is better if we combine and we add the forensic, not only the forensic but also the medical legal also. Yeah. So the medical legal services in Indonesia, we can do the medical legal analysis report. Sometimes the insurance company asks us to do the medical legal analysis in some cases. If they're if they suspect the cases um, are fraud, so they can call us to do the medical legal report analysis in this case. And some of them are clinical forensic cases. We have to do we have to review the past injury and also any impairment that happened in this case. Um, and for the sum of insurance cases, they ask us to determine the probability of injury and subsequent effects and give them insights about the probable cause of death due to injury compared to other cause. And they hope we can solve the dispute of non-autopsy cases regarding client versus insurance claim. Yeah. So this kind of case, we have to come to the home or to the house of the client, and we have to measure about the um, height and length of the room, and is it possible if the case would be the suicide or the homicide or so, or another accident cases. Yeah. So this is the case flow in Indonesian criminal justice system. We have the procedural act in our country. We have actually four main um, stage of this flow. The first one is also we call it a penyelidikan or investigating, but this is the preliminary investigating. The police just come to the crime scene and they collect the evidence, they collect the information. Is this enough or adequate preliminary evidence to bring these cases into the another stage? So the real investigation, we call it as a penyidikan. The penyidikan in this stage, the police has to be very active to collect the evidence, to get together some information, and also to examine the evidence, the trace evidence. So in this stage, the forensic medicine specialist very active to help the police. We can do the forensic examination. We have to make the report, and the report we give it to the police, and also we can give the expert testimony in this stage. And also in the court, the another stage is in this in the court. In the court can ask us to give the testimony, to give the explanation in this in the court, to make it to make the case is very clear in the court. So the problem is, what if the case was found by medical officer, not by the forensic medicine specialist? How forensic practitioner work if during investigation system stage, some evidences need to be preserved and documented? Who pay for the examination? This kind of problems still has a problem. Still has is the problem in Indonesia. Yeah, because the payment of these cases are not very clear. Who will pay for the autopsy? Who will pay for the test? Who will pay for the laboratory test? Yeah, in Indonesia, it's not very clear. Yeah, it's just stated in our law it will be paid by the government. But who the party of government? Police are government. Um, um, Attorney is also part of government, and judge also government. Who will pay for that? No one would claim for the as a payer for the examination. Yeah, so that's still the problem in Indonesia. Even though if we want to do some tests or some laboratory tests or some um, uh, radiology tests to help us to solve the case, but we have to think about who will pay for that. Yeah, in majority of cases, the family has to pay for the examination. So you can imagine that they lost the family member, but they also have to pay for the examination that needed by the police. Yeah, so it's very hard in some cases, and also for us as a forensic expert, sometimes not we cannot get paid. Yeah, because the family cannot pay. Yeah, they don't have any resources to pay. Yeah, they are coming from the lower income family, so they cannot pay the examination. So you have to do the examination for free. Yeah, that's the situation in Indonesia. Yeah. So this is the workflow in forensic service. The victim, um, the cases of the victim can be clinical and also the pathology. They come to the police. They come to the hospital for the clinical forensic. We can do the body examination, auxiliary examination such as radiology, laboratory, or another actual examination. They can do the consultation with us, and we can do the examination, and we make the report. In Indonesia, the report we call it a visum et repertum, because visum and repertum come from the Latin words, means you have to see and examine, and also you have to report. And uh, the report you can um, give to the police, and the police can ask you as expert testimony in the court or another stage of investigation. So, as a pathology cases, the forensic medicine specialist can do external examination and also internal examination or autopsy. And the same, you can do the report called visum et repertum, and you can become you can become a expert testimony in the court. So some of the question in this stage is, how about the scene investigation? Who will attend the examination of scene investigation? Okay, how you manage the conflict of interest? Yeah, some issues in Indonesia still has a problem until now. How if you have to mandatory reporting case? Yeah, how if you as an expert you need the protection? Yeah, some of the high profile case, some sometimes the expert has to protect his or herself, because we have to face the political issue, we have to face um, the some of the society issue. Yeah, because they come from the big society, and they can push or press you as a forensic expert to make the report as they wish. Okay, this is we face in some cases. How do you examine the perpetrators? Yeah, not only the victims but also the perpetrators. Other legal field, civil or administrative, is still kind of issue that we face. So this is a sample of problems. The 29 years old female divorced was admitted in private hospital ER, and 12 hours later was referred to our hospital, our government hospital, with severe second degree burn. And forensic department was consulted at the time. Examination showed the burn was due to fire. The fire was presumably boosted by gasoline. Due to first treatment, the trace of gasoline couldn't be found. And forensic department gave report to police investigator, followed by the investigation by the police. But later, The police inquest was sent to the forest department after the victim was passed away, and family refused autopsy. Yeah. So how to solve this problem? How to solve the case? Um, how would be what kind of the cause of death? Yeah. What is the cause of death in this case? We have to examine the body. We have to do the autopsy, but the family was refused. Yeah. The family refused the autopsy. So this is the daily issue that we face um, in our country. Yeah, every day, if we want to do the autopsy, in this case, the family say no. Yeah, we don't want to do we don't want the body as conducted by the autopsy. So that's the problem. Some of the problems of this in our country. And state obligation. The basic needs is right of every citizens. The basic needs are needed by every citizen to be able to enjoy other rights. Without basic needs, citizen could not further their interests. State has obligation to develop an achievable health state. Thus, basic needs must be provided by state. And also justice as basic needs. Justice as the maintenance of legal, social, or moral principles by the exercise of authority of power. Justice is a necessity of quality social order. To deny justice imposes serious consequences. Um, Abraham Maslow puts justice as part of human basic psychological need. So, definition of health based on our constitution as a state of physical, mental, socially, and the possibility to live a productive life, not merely in the absence of disease. Thus, justice is essential ingredient for creating healthy life. Yeah. That's the obligation of our state. So the transformation from the past to the present to manage forestry services need a specific regulation concerning facilities, equipment, and also human resources. And this is the mandate from the Our Health Act of our country, number 39, 2009. And this we have a new one, the Health Act number 17, 2023. Yeah. Um, and based on this transformation, um, we make the specific regulation about the forensic service in society. We call it a yandokum, pelayanan kedokteran untuk kepentingan hukum. Yeah, so medical service for law enforcement. So this is our transformation. We have to we also we have produced the this specific regulation since 2022. So this is the forestry service defined as examination to human body or things that presumably of human origin for legal purpose or presumed to have legal consequences. So it doesn't need to be clearly criminal cases prior to the examination. Broaden definition not only criminal but also civil and administrative law. Every person are protected since their first consultation prior to the issuance of police interest letter. Government fulfill every person right to have a just, good quality services. Yeah. So this specific regulation also regulate about the parts of human body um, donation or transplantation, organ, tissue, cells, or molecules originated from human body, and also foreign object extracted from human body. So the managing risk, the specific regulation must comply with values impartiality, independent, accountable, free from conflict of interest, objective, scientific, and anti-discrimination. Service principles, comply with ethics and medical legal principle, safety of the evidences, prevention of contamination, secrecy, and also access restriction. So this is have to ensure the basic needs from this specific regulation, number 38 2022, article 6 verse 1 stated the central and local government have duty to provide this kind of service in healthcare facility. And also the article 6 verse 2 stated the facility provide this kind of service for living and dead victim. Okay, and Article 7 stated that every provincial government has obligation to establish at least one facility in every province. And Article 8 said this kind of facility is integral part of hospital, but the service could also be provided in other facility. So some healthcare facility might receive forensic cases. The providers and facilities, nowadays we have around 300 plus forensic medicine and specialists nationally. This kind of service primarily provided by forensic specialists and GP, general practitioner who provide services, should show competency in forensic. And Indonesian Medical Council regulation on medical disciplinary stated that any doctor should refer their patients if they are doctors who have more suitable competency. So the changes in forensic pathology service, we renew the referral system based on the this regulation, Article 16, First 6, stated that every healthcare facility besides the healthcare facility for law enforcement that receive dead body which has a sign of death due to criminal act or suspicious death should refer the body to the nearest healthcare facility for the law enforcement. So it has to make sure access to healthcare facility in a sensible way for the family. Yeah. Um, so the scope of practice on this specific regulation, um, including the examination of human body or any part of human body at the scene, medical legal aspect screening, external examination, internal examination, and also the other auxiliary examination. So, like this case, we have to review is the possible cause of death of this victim. Is it natural or um, other cause of death? Also, in this case, the medical aspect of scene processing, the human body and the materials of human origin are within forensic doctor's scope of practice. Other materials that may relate to the death incident are also examined as integral part of analyzing the incident. And forensic doctor work together with crime investigator in office for the fingerprint and also from with the police forensic lab. So this is the mandatory report cases in our country, such as death of public figure or of public interest, unidentified body, skeletonized human remains, transportation accident, mass death, death in workplace, death in sport games, neglected child death, death due to bullying, custodial death, and also suicidal death. The clinical autopsy could be done after patient's authorization or authorization from next of kin. So, um, in terms of death due to harmful infectious disease that impose great risk to surrounding society, government could request autopsy without family authorization, such as in the pandemic era before. Uh, the government could request autopsy without family authorization. So, to protect society, clinical autopsy could be mandated by the government. The clinical forensic services, every person that need to be called fit prior to be heard their testimony. Unreliable and false confession risk serious miscarriage of justice. And based of this regulation, Article 13, verse 1, the assessment of fitness in front of the law to be interviewed, to stand trial, and to be detained. Yeah. So a person who is mentally disordered or otherwise mentally vulnerable must not be interviewed in the absence of an appropriate doubt. Okay. So the administrative law, every citizen has a civil right, including getting identified and to be known. And missing and unidentified bodies consists of 10 until 20% of cases. Natural and unnatural disaster increase risk of missing and identified. And this law we have to need to develop system to certify someone missing and or presumably dead. So this is some of the sample, um, like the Danau Toba case in the Toba Lake in North Sumatra, where the both sing and 100 plus 100, I think 193. Yeah, this is stated around 19 around 193 um, miss missing bodies and cannot be picked up from the base of the lake. So in this case, we have to think about um, the status the status of the victims. Maybe we cannot identify one by one of this victim, but we have to certify the death. We have to provide the death certificate to all of the victims to make the status of the victims clear. Yeah, and they are stated as a victim on in this in of this incident. Yeah, and also from the earthquake, tsunami, liquefaction, where we have mass victims. We cannot identify one by one, so we can certify all of them as provide the death certificate to all of them. So the collaboration, we have to collaborate with other parties, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Public Affairs, Ministry of Finance, Police and Army, Attorney General, provincial or municipal government. And budgeting, central and local government have obligation to establish sufficient budget to provide the forensic service in this case. And the budget are guaranteed for all forensic service for criminal cases. We thank the government to this kind of specific regulation, but also in fact they are not very easy to get the budget and to get the fund from the government to um, for forensic services. So the budget assurance not only for medical legal examination but also for medical treatment. So this is the clinical forensic cases. We have we have top referral and also secondary healthcare and the primary. So it's um, um yeah, we have a referral system in Indonesia. So any cases can go directly to healthcare facility that provides the forensic service, especially sexual and assault to women and children. And also the dead body brought into any hospital should be referred to nearest healthcare facility that have forensic service if the screening resulted in suspicious death. So as a conclusion, the Ministry of Health Regulation number 38 2022 manage the facility and also the doctor, the resources, and also the services. And the Criminal Procedures Act manage legal procedures, including investigator, evidence, the result or the report, visum repertum, and also the qualified expert, and etc. And also, this specific regulation is bridging the regulation gap in medical legal system regulated under Criminal Procedural Act between medical system and legal systems. And also, the combining system gives broad spectrum of possibilities in forensic and medical legal services. So in the future, we hope that this specific regulation can improve our forensic service. Yeah, um, because it regulates the facility, has to be specific healthcare facility, and also the specific resources, manpower, the doctor, forensic medicine specialist, and also the kind of services of forensic field. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all for me. Um, if you have any question, please raise the question and ask me. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Yudy, for your insightful sharing about the medical legal system in Indonesia. All right, I think now we have about 10 minutes for Q&A. We may open up the Q&A session for all our online participants here. So feel free to type in your questions in the chat box, and I will help to read the question to our speaker. Or if you like, you might also switch on your microphone and you can talk directly to our speaker about your questions. So feel free, yeah. Okay, is there any question coming? Um, Maybe while we are waiting for the questions to come in, perhaps I can ask the first question to
Yeah,
Dr. Yudy. Yeah. After this, what is actually the current major challenges that faced by forensic pathologists in Indonesia, in your opinion?
yeah, yeah. Based on my opinion, the current challenges in forensic pathology field still in budget the payment for this kind of service. Even though we have the specific regulation, but in fact the yeah not very easy to see that any party to pay for the service. And also the challenges in our country, the forensic medicine specialist itself, it's not only from the civilian, but they can be the police also, and they can also the army. So um, I think this position is have a challenge because they have a conflict of interest actually in this in doing the service, the forensic service. Because how can you, as a police, as an active police, you can do the examination, and you can do the report, and you can publish the report. Maybe our society has look at you and, oh, I think it's not fair, and it's not independent, it's not impartial. Yeah, I think that's some of our challenges nowadays in forensic field.
All right, thank you for the answers. Yeah, this is quite interesting to know. Yeah, that the police and the army, yeah, are able to offer the service,
Yes.
and you said that there is a conflict of interest there. Yeah, but I'm just not sure whether is there any law or regulation to address the issue of the malpractice of the forensic pathology. Is there any law?
Mm. For the forensic pathology, I don't think we have any law that address in this field. Um, yeah, we can call it in our field as a forensic. We are like an untouchable, because every examination that you do, I think not so many people arguing about this, about the result, despite of the your position. Like I said before, as if you're civilian, I think they are not issue, no issue from the society. Yeah, whatever result you publish, they can accept. But if you come from the police or army, hospital, I think some of our society are not very sure. Yeah, they doubting about the result. Is it right? Is it fair? Or is the doctor has fair enough to do to make a report, or they have an interest, or they have a conflict of interest in providing the result of this examination. I think that's the issue actually. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Yudi. Right. May I know, is there any other questions from our audience? Feel free to ask. Okay. Is there no question? Yeah, I think the Dr. Chang. Uh, she asked that can the same person work in government and private sector? Yeah,
Yeah.
is it possible? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can answer this. Um, in Indonesia, as a doctor, we have three places. You have permit to make a practice in three places or hospitals. So yeah, you can do both in government and also private sector. Yeah. So maybe in as a government employee, you have to work in government hospital in the morning until the afternoon, and after that at the night you can make a practice in the private hospital. Yeah. Also in forensic field, we can do the forensic examination in private hospital, but the cases are limited maybe in also in only the forensic medicine cases, not the pathology. But the pathology, um, mostly they come or they can be they brought to the body to the government hospital. Yeah. But for the clinical forensic medicine cases, you can do it in the private hospital. Yeah. Okay, you're welcome, Dr. Kylie.
All right. Well, I think perhaps there's no other question after this, I believe. Yeah. All right. If there's no more question, then let us thank Dr. Yudy for the presentation. And also, I would like to thank all the audience who are joining us today. Your participation make this session very meaningful. And so if you have any further questions, feel free to contact Dr. Yudy. I think they can easily get your email address, hopefully, yeah,
Yeah.
by just Google your name. Yeah. And please also remember to fill in the attendance list. We put the link in the chat box. So on behalf of Immb, we would like to thank the speaker, Dr. Yudy, and also to thank all the online participants for being with us today. I hope you all have a great day and looking forward to seeing you all again in our next webinar. So thank you very much and take care, everyone. Thanks, Dr. Yudy. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
everyone.
Hope to see you again. Thank you.
See
Bye
you
bye.
again. Bye.
Bye. Yeah.